Hey everybody, Ian and I wanted to thank all of you for listening to our podcast. If you can do us a huge favor and go to iTunes and rate us 5 stars and also leave a review. Also, if you can go to our Instagram, ENG Podcast, and tag friends in our post, it just gets the word out. We're bringing you guys a lot of fun guests, and the podcast is actually building very quickly. So if you can just go to iTunes and rate us 5 stars and leave a review, it really helps us jump up in all the search engines when people search for Bachelor-related podcasts. So thank you for the continued support. Please go to iTunes, rate and review, tell a friend. We really appreciate it. Today's episode of the ENG Podcast is sponsored by our good friends at Clothing by Owl. All you Bachelor fans will recognize this name as they are the company behind the hugely popular Wine Bachelor and Yoga Pants tank top. What you may not know is that they give back a percentage of every item sold to Animal Rescue, and that notable Bachelor alums like JoJo Fletcher, Caitlin Bristow, Lauren Bushnell, Ben Higgins, and Nick Viall are all huge supporters. We're happy to offer our listeners 20% off when you visit clothingbyowl.com. Simply add the discount code ENG, that's EANDG, to save on all your Bachelor gear. And be sure to follow them on social media at Clothing by Owl.
Jeff and I are doggy dads, which is why we're so excited to be partnering with our newest sponsor, Puppies Make Me Happy. They have a super simple mission, to make the happiest clothes on earth, which they do. And we know our listeners will love this brand just as much as we do. Plus, we're excited to help spread a little happiness ourselves by offering listeners 20% off all merchandise by using discount code ENG. That's EANDG at checkout. Make sure to follow them on Instagram at Puppies Make Me Happy.
Welcome to another episode of the ENG Podcast. Jen Tracy and Christy Keith's favorite podcast to download.
That would be our significant others who, although they say they will and love to listen to our show, have proven yet that they have not.
They're always about to listen.
So funny, man. How are you doing, Jeff? We had some new announcements this week with Nick and a lot of drama in Paradise. So what's going on in your world?
I was thrown for a complete curveball, much like everybody else, with the announcement of Nick because they kept teasing the new Bachelor being either Luke or Chase, and we were having this whole, hey, let's make a bet. Who do you think it is, Luke or Chase? I even bet my wife a steak dinner, which I guess no one gets steak now because it's either Luke or Chase. So
There you go. It was interesting. Like, that definitely came out of left field, but what I find fascinating, and I would love to get Nick on to ask him, is they really have put Nick in this great light now, right? You know, with Paradise, he was the true redemption story. This guy had been, like, he was the runner-up. He was not necessarily a Bachelor favorite, and I feel like now he is. And everybody's, like, super excited for Nick to get his chance at love. So, cheers to the Bachelor crew for making that happen and setting him up for success.
Yeah, what's funny about that is this is the only time I've ever seen Nick, and you've seen him on those other shows that he was on where he was the runner-up. So, and you keep telling me, yeah, he wasn't, a big fan favorite. But I've only seen him on Bachelor in Paradise, and for me, I really like the guy. It seems like they make him come off great, which obviously, after talking to multiple people, especially this interview we just did, which everyone's about to listen to with Leah again, they really do craft their stories and who's going to come off good, who's going to come off bad. So they could really make almost anyone they want become the next Bachelor or Bachelorette.
They really can. And that was what was so interesting. And it was such a fun conversation we just had with Leah. One thing to tease, because we're talking about her right now and everybody will hear this during the interview, is they took things that she said from The Bachelor and put them in her appearance on Bachelor in Paradise, right? Because it better fit the dialogue and the story that they were trying to tell about Leah.
Right.
So they have that level of power. That was very interesting to me, man. We talked about this last week in our recap, tinfoil hat guy, and it sounds like
tinfoil hat guy's right.
You are right. You're actually right about this. So it was pretty crazy.
And I mean, they'll hear in the interview, but she says like one of the people she's closest with, if not the closest with, is Amanda, and that's the person who on Bachelor in Paradise they made it sound like she was talking crazy shit about Amanda. With the edits.
Exactly. Exactly. And, this past week, week 5, in Paradise, there was some drama that went down. I think the main thing that people, were excited to see play out was the Kayla and Jared
Yeah, and
relationship.
don't say too much about what's coming up in the interview, but what did you think about that just when you watched it?
So good tease, first and foremost. And secondly, I don't know, man. I get why Jared left, right? I think it made sense why Kayla left too. It was kind of like this is a toxic environment, right? Like I don't know if we're gonna be able to further what we already have and build upon it. So it just seems like I may as well leave. And for
Yeah.
Jared, it made sense to me because what is he gonna do if he stays? Is he gonna start to try to pursue someone else? Is he gonna try to like just hang out with Ashley? And they kind of had a weird thing going on.
Is he gonna take one of Wells's 5 chicks that Wells
Exactly.
Wells is just like that Dan Blazarian guy on Instagram at this point, just taking pictures in hot tubs with a bunch of girls all by himself.
We got to get Wells' head on that guy. That's a perfect, it's a perfect analogy. Yeah, I don't know. So I got it, man. To answer your question, it made sense, right? Like I saw it both ways, but I felt like although all that we were being shown was that she was crazy and maybe she was like purposely trying to tear apart this relationship, it just felt like in the back of my head, like there has to be more to this story. There has to be more to this story, right? And of course, we found out that there was. So.
Right. What do you think about the Kayla and Jared thing? I agree with you. Just watching the show, I totally saw where Kayla was coming from. Just watching the show, I was watching thinking, yeah, like why would she try and stick around when this Ashley I girl is obviously just completely toxic and neither one of them are trying to pursue anyone else, so just get out of there. Why not? So I like that. I did like the way I talked to you through text, which we usually try not to do before we come on a recap podcast. But I did like the power move she did with Jared, where she's like, "I'm leaving. I'm going right now," and he's like, "You're going right now?" And then he goes, "Well, I got to go talk to Ashley. I just want to talk to Ashley real quick." And she goes, "I don't need to talk to anyone else. I'm leaving." And we talked about that, dude. It was a power move, but I also thought, from her perspective, just from watching, it was a good power move because she's making a point. Why do you need to talk to someone else if you really care about me so much? Why are you whatever? But it does seem like she kind of had Jared a little bit around her finger. But I also would have done the same thing Jared did if I was him. And I would have done the same thing Kayla did if I was her.
Exactly. I mean, it makes sense both ways. It was certainly the last couple episodes have been dominated by that storyline. The other thing was that, as you alluded to, Wells is now all of a sudden a ladies' man.
Yeah.
And I know we've been talking about Wells for some time, and the fact that his performance on JoJo's season, right? The fact that he did not kiss her until the very end, it was super awkward. He didn't seem to have his mojo. Well, he's got it back now, and the ladies are lining up to date Wells. This guy's been on, 3 dates since he's been there every single day?
He basically dates anyone who shows up, man. Halle Berry from 1993 can walk through those palm fronds onto the beach, and she'd be like, "Wells is here," and Wells goes. I like how Wells goes to camera. This is what I like about Wells. First of all, that guy does seem like a fun guy, nice guy, and he likes dogs. So obviously, I'm a big fan of his because of that. But I like how he pretends he's so shocked he's getting chicks. Like he's a cute dude. I could see a certain type of girl or girls who like that type of guy like really liking Wells, Obviously, we talked to some people and they're like, "Oh, I like bigger guys. He's too skinny." That makes total sense. But this guy goes to camera like, "Man, if you would have told me, I'd have girls thinking I was cute." Like, it's not your fucking first day at the park, dude. Come on.
He's definitely hamming it up a lot. And the other people that got a lot of shine, and they have been throughout the season, of course, there was the blow up between Josh and Nick and all the tension that was there. And we thought that there was maybe going to be a fight that they teased into the second episode. What was your take on Josh's reaction, right, to Nick? Because that guy did get very aggressive. Like, I'm personally a fan of coming at things head on, and I appreciate the fact that he's confident enough in himself. Like, he'll stand there, he's like, the group all comes down, he's addressing all of them, like, guys, if you have something to say it. I respect that, right? Like, okay, that's fine. But then he goes and takes it 5 steps further, in my opinion.
Well, one thing that I noticed about that. First off, you've been watching longer. They tease every season I watch, there's always a tease about, is there going to be a fight? Is this guy in the ambulance because Chad hit him in the fucking face with his knee and then almost killed him until like security stepped in? Then you just find out like the guy got hit in the head with a baseball or something. I don't know. But so, has there ever been a fight? No. I'm guessing no.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I love that they tease that there's always going to be possibly a fight, just because it's great teasing. It's great editing and teasing, and it's great reality TV. But yeah, I liked what Josh did where he goes, I got to take care of this. I'm going to confront everybody. But the thing I didn't like is he did a thing where he seems to me, and obviously I don't know him and I'm not on the show and I'm not around him. It's just the editing. He seems to me like the type of guy who wants to act like he's wanting to talk things out, but really he just wants to try and be an alpha male and intimidate other people into not talking. Because when Nick was trying to talk, he's like, yeah, man. He goes, I'll tell you like what I'm concerned about. Josh did this thing where he kept talking over him.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a great point.
He's like Nick would start to calmly go like, yeah, man. I mean, there's just blah blah, and then he goes, what are you saying? What are you saying? Like, blah blah. You think, and it's like, dude, let him. You're not letting him talk. You just kind of want to overpower him to make it seem like he's not. But you're just not letting people talk. And then when he said, I did love when he said, Nick goes, you better hope everything's okay with her. And then Nick goes, or what?
Or what?
It's like, I would have done the same thing. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? What's going to happen to me?
You hit it right on the head, with Josh. And I think the other thing about Josh, too, is he's an alpha, right? He's not going to let people talk, but his mind is made up. Like, he's the type of guy that it doesn't matter who or what is being said or whose mouth it's coming out of. Like, if Josh thinks a certain way, that's the way it is, right? And so there was no one that was going to get through to Josh. So Nick kind of stepping up and being, like, honest, really, like, hey, I'll tell you what's up. Like, I appreciated that from Nick. And what really spurred all of this on was the twins, right? So the twins are Amanda's best friends, and they felt compelled after all this time to basically pull her aside after they had their dramatic, we're not going to give out our rose at the ceremony moment, and let Amanda know how they felt, and that really this was coming a lot of just from Nick, right? And then it was also their opinion too, of course. But what did you think about the twins, their exit, their role on the show and creating some of that drama? What was your take on that?
The thing about the twins, man, is one, they told us they were down to do our pod, and then now we can't get them to come on as of right now. So I'm a little annoyed with them.
They're ducking us. They're ducking Emily, Haley, what's up?
Yeah, they're ducking a little bit, which I don't like. But also, their exit, I thought, was so lame because they were the only people on the island or wherever they were with an advantage. They had a tactical advantage where only one of them needed to get a rose every week, and they played into that. They manipulated other people just to stay. Remember when they were like, "Oh, like, go kiss Daniel. Like, one of us needs to stay. Or we're kind of on the chopping block, possibly. So let's influence it so we can stay." So they're playing games with people, and then they do this really emotional, teary-eyed, bawling, crying. We really did come to find love, but we didn't find it. It's like, do you guys share a brain and a vagina? Like, why do both of you need to stay when one stays, and why do both of you need to leave? Like, maybe, I'm telling you right now, man, whenever those girls do get married, if they ever do get married, which I'm sure they will at some point, it's going to be because they break off and do their own thing a little bit.
Absolutely.
If I'm super into Emily or I'm super into Haley, and I'm sure I would love their sister, but I wouldn't want her always to be around. I wouldn't want them to always be playing games. So I just thought it was weird that they manipulated the system to stay. They had the easiest way to stay because they had that tactical advantage just mathematically because of the way the show is set up. And then they make the decision to fuck over 3 dudes simultaneously and be like, we're gone. We're kind of done with this. So
we're going to go ahead and leave. Poor Daniel. I mean,
Daniel's the best.
Daniel's the best. So, going to be sad not to see him in these last couple episodes. But then also, I mean, he had that connection with Sarah, which that guy just basically flushed down the toilet, which we've already discussed. But it was pretty funny, man. And it's worth repeating again, Emily and Haley, they're 23. They were the youngest contestants on Paradise this season. I think the next youngest was like Kayla. Kayla's 24, which is also kind of surprising too. But they'll grow out of it. I guess that's what I'm going to say. Now I'm sounding like an old dude. Like, they'll grow out of it, but I really think that they will, right? So what was your take on Evan and Carly?
Evan and Carly, man. I mean, we discussed that with Leah in the interview it's about to play. So, I mean, I you can listen to that. Everyone can listen to that for my take on that, and we obviously get Leah's take and your take. I want to know what you think about Wells getting Josh. Because, like, who do you think Wells connected the most with? Because it's hard for us to tell. It seemed like he was really into her, and then it seemed like he was super into Jamie, and then he talked to Ashley I about Jamie. And then he seemed like back into Ashley I because she was handling it so well. And then Shoshana shows up, and now these guys just, basically running a harem out of Jorge's bar beach resort.
It's true, man. He's the ultimate puppet master a little bit, right? Wells is. But he's playing the game. I mean, he's been there, like 2 days? Even when Shoshana had showed up, like he had just gotten there pretty much as well. And so he hasn't had any time to truly form a relationship with any of these girls. And so, I don't know. I mean, I don't judge Wells, I guess, harshly for going on those dates. I probably would have done the same thing. I mean, you're there to have fun, to like have this experience. To answer your question, who did I think he was gelling with most? I think I would agree with you, man. It seemed like him and Jamie had the best date. Right?
They definitely made it seem like it. And they also had a cool, I mean, with Ashley I, he went out for tacos, and I'm sure they took tequila shots or whatever. And then they had like a nice little stroll, and they set that little thing up in the air, which seemed like
which caught on fire. And it was hilarious. But yeah.
Which, by the way, dude, let's talk about editing. Did that really catch on fire, or was that another one that they did because that just made it funny, like them walking away and then it catches on fire? But then Jamie's day was just a fucking like, this is gonna be like an Elvis Presley movie. You're gonna do a bunch of fun shit all in one day.
Oh, it was epic. It was like four-wheeling, waterfalls, like just this amazing date. They got back super late. I remember a bunch of people in the house, right, were commenting, wow, this has been like the longest date ever. They were holding hands. They got, a great connection going, it seemed. So I definitely thought there was something there. So I was kind of surprised to see where it ultimately played out, but I guess we don't know yet. So I guess that's what next week is about.
And, dude, I'm about to let's get into our interview with Leah. But real quick, just to tease everybody, I just checked our podcast email, and Shoshana is down for an interview. So that will be coming up soon, and everyone enjoy. We have about an hour-long conversation with Leah, who's one of our favorite guests. We know she comes off a little poorly on TV, but listen up, and I think you'll find out why.
Well, and that's the thing. Let me get one last thing which is to say, Leah is great. Leah is great. And what was cool about getting her back on the podcast is the fact that she could explain herself a little bit, and especially the edit that she received this time around, because you and I even remarked these last couple of podcasts that Leah was such a fun guest and so cool to talk to that we were like shocked how she came off on TV. But it was interesting to dive into that, to learn a little bit more about Chad, to get some of the behind the scenes, what happens right when they have this downtime, some of the gossip that's going on, and really just to get her take on everybody from the season. So
last tease before we start the interview. Yeah. Everybody, wait till you hear what she says about Lace. All right.
Yes, that's a good way to end it.
Enjoy the interview.
Everybody's here. What's up?
All right, good.
Welcome back.
Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely. We have a lot to talk about. Jeff, I don't know. Did you want to kick it off, Jeff? I know you had some questions in mind.
Yeah, let's start first, Leah. We were so excited to see you go on Paradise, and I just want your take on what happened, because we all know it's a shitload of editing. You barely got to be on, and we hated that because you're one of our favorite interviews. So what happened?
Well, I mean, basically the reason I got sent home kind of right away is because there just wasn't anybody there for me at the time. And I mean, really, there wasn't anybody there for me, period. But, at the time, the guy I took on a date was Nick. And I took Nick because out of all the other guys remaining, he was the only one that I was really at all interested in. And we had a great time, but I knew he was really there for Jen. And so that's, for one, why I didn't care to ask him out, because I knew Amanda was also there for Josh. So
right.
I didn't do it to sabotage Amanda. I knew that, she really was there for Josh.
That is kind of interesting. Sorry to cut you off, but it is kind of interesting because this is obviously my first time watching Bachelor in Paradise. I didn't even know how the show works. It really is a timing thing, because when you showed up, I remember thinking like, well, if she doesn't, like, Nick doesn't hit it off big time with Leah, then she's kind of fucked.
Right. Right. And I mean, I went there for Chad, not knowing anything about Chad.
Right.
And he wasn't there. So I think if he would have not been crazy and he would have still been there, it may have been different because I would have asked him. I talked to Chad before Paradise. So.
And what happened with that?
I mean, it was great. I mean, he seemed totally normal at the time that I talked to him. So, I didn't get to watch Bachelorette because we had already been filming while that show was airing.
Okay.
And so I didn't know, the things he did until after I got back. And, so, I mean, it was a blessing in disguise that he wasn't there, but I did go there kind of for him and, wasn't interested in any of the guys at the time. So there just wasn't enough roses and there wasn't enough, guys. And it was kind of just bad luck.
So what was it about Chad that you were excited to meet Chad? You said you talked to him before, but you talked to him like online or through text, but not in person?
Text. We were texting. Yeah. We started, Instagram, and we text for like a month actually. And very casual.
Right.
There's not really much point in getting to know somebody via text and then it doesn't work out, so very casually, but he seemed nice and I was just physically attracted to him and that's it. I mean, all us girls have to go off of his photos, really.
Right. Oh, so you said you saw none of him on The Bachelorette.
I saw the very first episode, which was coming out of the lip.
Okay, so you knew he was going to be on Paradise and you were looking forward to that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, that's why I got eliminated. I think it was a good thing. I am very glad that I got sent home early after it's all said and done. But it was a bummer because, you plan so much for these things and you look forward to it and then it's over in 48 hours.
Well, so that's what I was going to ask, Leah. How long prior to the rose ceremony, how many days prior were you there? It sounds like 2 days.
I was filming for 2. I was there about, I think, 11 days.
Okay, so you were there for some time. So you got to know people, and I'm sure with that timeline, there's a ton that doesn't make the actual show. Is that fair to say? Yeah.
I was only filming. I was only with everybody for 2 days.
Okay.
I was alone the rest of the time.
Gotcha.
Time with the people.
do they keep you guys like sequestered for a period of time before you actually go and meet the group? Or do you just fly down and just go straight there?
No, there's some time before, they get you, which is good because they get you just like in the right mindset because it's pretty stressful. We all have jobs and you have to leave your job and, pack and it's just stressful getting out of your normal life. And so they give you a few days to just chill and we have like photo shoots and that kind of stuff to get us prepared. And then they keep us sequestered and, in private because they don't want us to know who is there. Even though we pretty much all know who's there anyways.
And that was kind of even my question. I mean, you mentioned it a second ago. Amanda was kind of waiting for Josh. Nick was maybe waiting for Jennifer. People had already kind of put dibs out there. Was that established prior to the show? Like, were you guys all just texting each other? Okay.
I mean, the girls talk. The guys, I don't think the guys really, I just, he told me straight up when I got there. I mean, I heard a little bit, but he told me when I talked to him that he was waiting for Jen to come. But I still took him out because I almost gave my date card up because I honestly wanted to give it to somebody that was super excited about a certain somebody. And I didn't want to do it just to, get a rose. But we had a great time, honestly. And I'm very excited for him that, he's a bachelor now.
Well, I was going to say, we can segue into Nick, but I did actually have just one more question prior to that. So you mentioned all the Chad stuff, and you guys were chatting prior. You knew when you arrived that he had his blow up with Lace. What was your take on that whole relationship? Like, what was the group's take on Chad? Because you missed him in person.
Yeah. Honestly, I wasn't surprised at all. It was weird. The night before I went in, and I was supposed to be a part of the original cast, and I technically still was because I was already out there. I'm on the website as part of the original cast, but they had asked me if I wanted to go in just the very next day. So they were only there for less than 24 hours together before I got there.
That was only 24 hours.
Yeah, it was only 24 hours. Yeah, it was not even. It was like less than that. It was just like the, middle of the afternoon and then they were sleeping. But yeah, so, but I wasn't surprised. The night that I was still in my hotel room waiting, I thought if Chad were to go for anybody, it would be Lace. And so I really wasn't surprised. I was surprised that he pooped his pants on national TV, but
now, Leah, when a guy shits himself, is that a deal killer, or
I don't know,
is the
maybe
door
not.
still open?
It depends on if it was what kind of,
I
we won't
mean,
go into detail.
in his defense, he shit himself in board shorts, so it's like that's an easy, shower by the beach wash.
Right. And, I'm not I wasn't there, so I'm not sure. Do you think it was like a full on
It was messy, I think.
poo, or do you think it was more of like a shart?
I'm not going to give the guy a break and call it a shart. I think when you're drinking, it's not going to come out like a solid, A lot of and we're done. We're done talking about that, I guess. I want to ask you about this, Leah, because I want to get your take on the other girls. Like, how well did you know Lace? I know you guys are on the same season and everything. I want to know what your take is on her, because on the show they basically just go, "Oh, Lace just shows up and her and Chad get hammered and start going at it." And then it seemed like the next day Grant was all about Lace, and there was no buffer. So what's Lace like? Right. And also, I want you to answer this too, because on TV they showed it, and I don't, it's very highly edited. Obviously, we always talk about that. But when you showed up, they made it seem like a lot of the girls didn't like you. Like they were like, "Oh, yeah. there she is. Oh God!" And then they see you and they're like, "Hey, what's up? Like, what is that real or what?" What's the
for one, that's how you know girls are fake, when they're all like, "Hi, you look so good. How are you?" It's like, oh, come on,
Yeah.
But yeah, like the three girls, I'm pretty much friends with everybody, but there's three girls that, for me, I don't like Lace. I decided that on my own, and that's personal reasons. I know Lace very well. We both live in Colorado, and I don't like her for personal reasons. The twins, no idea why they don't like me, but that's fine. That's okay. Other than that, I'm friends with everybody. I mean, I get along with everybody, and I think those are really just the ones that had an issue. But again, they were very, very nice to me when I was there. Super nice. I was nice to everybody. But yeah.
Yeah, it seems like you're always nice. What is it about Lace? You guys had something. So on when you guys were both on The Bachelor, you got along, or you didn't?
Yeah,
really,
I was one of her only friends.
Okay, so then she kind of stabbed you in the back. What happened?
No, she didn't. She's just not. I'd say with Lace, it's dicks over chicks, 100% of the time.
Oh, I see.
So, I mean, that's really all I need to say. She's,
So which dicks do you think she chose over chicks?
Oh, many.
Many dicks. Lace takes many dicks. We have our title for this episode, Ian. Now, are you talking guys from like the Bachelor Nation, Bachelor Group, whatever it's called, like all the different shows? Are you talking just guys in Colorado, period?
Guys in Colorado, and just in general.
Wow.
Just her mindset is like, I'd rather just dicks over friendship. She's just just not a fan.
And why do you think that is? Is she like an only child, or did she play solo sports growing up?
I don't know. I don't know. Which sucks, because she said she was going to work on herself, and it just doesn't seem like she really did.
Well, that's something that we thought was really funny, is because when she showed up, obviously her whole thing on The Bachelor, she was kind of the drunk, and then she said, yeah, like I worked on myself, and I realized, oh man, I came off really bad, and she's like, so I still have the occasional drink, but whatever. And then that was kind of like her package leading up to the show, and then they just show the show, and she gets hit shit faced the first night.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? What? Yeah, not good. I don't know.
Did she go for Chad, do you think, because she knew you liked Chad?
No, I think she probably was attracted to him. We both have similar tastes, I guess. So I don't think she knew I was talking to him, though.
Oh, okay. So that was just her getting drunk and going for another dick.
Yeah.
Leah, I think I remember you did After Paradise, right? I think you were on the first episode of that. And of course, they wanted to chat with you about Nick as well. You mentioned that you were feeling the tequila, but you thought overall the date went good. Like, what was that interaction like, right? Nick's the Bachelor now. I'm sure people are curious what kind of guy he is.
It was fun. I had a good time with him. Our date was to drink tequila. I mean, that's all we did was went around and just drank. And so it was fun, but it was kind of like a friendly date. I didn't feel a strong like physical connection to him. He wasn't very touchy, and he would never look at me straight in the eye. And Amanda said the same thing. We would be talking, and I'm like, I'm over here. And he would just be talking and looking over, in the corner or something. So I just, when I left, I thought, okay, yeah, like he's cute. We kiss, and, I wanted to get to know him better, but there weren't sparks.
Exactly, like the chemistry wasn't there.
Yeah,
maybe.
right.
And had you met Nick prior to being on the show?
I met him one time, just shortly, but that was it.
Yeah, it seems like he's definitely very active in kind of the Bachelor community, and he's obviously been on the franchise now, and he's finally getting his chance to be that guy. What is his reputation amongst fellow contestants and past folks who have been on the show?
I think people have their mixed, opinions about him throughout the years. So I really can't say like what everybody thinks. I know the girls from Paradise like all really liked him, and there's definitely guys that really like him, and I'm sure there's guys that aren't so crazy about him. He likes to do magazines and that kind of thing, and writes articles and talks about people. So I'm sure sometimes he talks about people, and those people might not, like him so much. But honestly, I really don't know. He's nice. There's nothing wrong with him.
Exactly. You're kind of explaining how he comes off too, right? But I think this was certainly like a redemption. And I'm curious if they knew Nick would probably be the Bachelor and they want to put him in this really great light to tee him up for success. Is that something that you guys had thought about? Do you think that is what happened?
I had no idea when he came out as a Bachelor. I about had a Chad, and I was so shocked, and I don't think any of us really put it together until now. We're thinking, oh, well, that's why he has such a good light. That's because he has it in the past, and he did take me on a date, and then right away took Amanda. He could have looked even better by saying, I'm just going to respect Leah and not take Amanda on a date or whatever. There's other things you could have, should have, would have, but he did. He looked great on the show, and I have no idea when they knew it was going to be Nick, but it worked. It worked.
It definitely worked. So the last thing I'm going to ask about Nick is on the show. This was a huge drama point and still is with Josh, is Andy's book, right? And I know Nick's a part of the book too, but they kind of glossed over the fact that he was a part of the book, right? Nick's big thing was, I know that some of the stuff that she says about me is true, so I have to wonder about Josh, right?
Right.
Do you have a take on the book in general? Are you familiar with what was said about Nick?
I don't. Well, all I know is that he admitted to sleeping with her in the fantasy suite. I don't know much else. I haven't read the book. I've heard about it. But if he's admitting, to whatever is in the book is true, then I don't know. There's always two sides to the story, but I can imagine that there's probably some truth in the Josh stuff too.
I want to ask you about Josh. How is Josh when you're there? Because we talked to Izzy, who, no offense, kind of seemed just a little full of it. Like everything she said, she loved everybody, and she seemed really nice. But, we asked her about Josh because we're like, hey, he comes off on TV, kind of whatever. And she's like, oh, he's great. He's a great guy. He's such a great dude, whatever. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That's cool. And then so I immediately asked about Evan because it had just been that episode where Evan, it seemed like for no reason, like went behind Josh's back just to try and get with Amanda and say, hey, there's this book. I haven't read it, but I heard it's bad. Like Josh sucks. And so I immediately asked Izzy about Evan because she just said how great Josh is. And then she goes, Evan's a sweetheart. He's I'm like, how's he a sweetheart? Just fucking went behind the other guy's back who you said's a sweetheart. That can't be both be sweethearts. So what is your take on Josh?
Well, for one, I feel like that was such a producer move to tell Evan, like, hey, Evan, do you know that there's a book out? You should probably go talk to Josh about it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Totally.
It happened to me on The Bachelor when I talked to Ben. it was kind of put in my head that you should do this, or nobody's going to know, or he's never going to find out. You should do this. And I may or may not have been totally sober. So,
Yeah, right.
this is all new to us. But anyways, Josh, I wasn't there when Josh was there. I had just left and he got there the next.
That's right.
But I'm really close with Amanda, and it's out there now that they are living together.
Yeah.
And I really don't know much about the relationship. I know he treats her really well, but I think just from seeing social media, he's just obsessing over this whole thing.
Over the media attention, or
over the media, over how mean people are being and how badly he's looking on the show, and it just seems like he got the girl, he should just be focusing on that.
What's funny about that? Yeah, it's funny because all he ever says on the show is, you can't control what people think. They're gonna say some things, but it's whatever, and then he's the opposite.
Responds to people. Oh, yes. Like, wait, you're just saying that you shouldn't care, like basically whatever other people think, and yeah. So we'll see if it works out.
So you are close with Amanda, because I wanted to ask about her, because on TV, all we really see, they don't really show a lot of depth of Amanda. They don't really show her talking much. It's always, especially on this show, it's just Josh talking, and she's always going, yeah, I know. Yeah. I know. Right. No, I get it. It's like, she never has her own sentence, it seems like, on TV. So
she's kind of reserved. She's quiet. She's super sweet, but she is kind of quiet, and she's not very opinionated. I mean, I love Amanda, but our personalities are very different. I definitely say what's on my mind, and she might hold back a little bit more. And it's just about the producers and how I'm not sure exactly what they didn't show Amanda saying, but it's just about the producers and what they want to show that's going to be the most entertainment for the audience.
Right. Well, then real quick, just because I already brought her up, how well do you know Izzy, and what is she really like?
I don't really know Izzy at all, actually. I know she's was the only other Jew on The Bachelor.
Oh.
And she got eliminated night one. She was actually in my limousine.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay.
Me, Izzy, JoJo, and Tiarra. Tiarra was the chicken lady, and she got eliminated too. And so I don't know her very well because I spent a day with her on Paradise and a couple hours with her on The Bachelor. So she seems, I don't really know, honestly.
Just to go back to, because you brought it up, I just hate to go back to The Bachelor, but when you saw that Tiarra was in the chicken suit, did you have to get out of your chicken suit because there was two people in chicken suits?
Wait, what?
She brought the chicken, Jeff. She brought the chicken.
Oh, I thought she was in a chicken suit.
She brought the chicken on Women Tell All, but she actually looked really pretty. I was surprised she went home because I didn't know that she was the chicken enthusiast, but she looked really pretty night one. And Lauren H was the one that wore the chicken suit. I wore the clown suit.
Oh, okay.
Are you talking about the Vegas?
I forgot. I thought someone was in a chicken suit, and I was joking that you were also in a chicken suit. Like, this is awkward. We wore the same thing.
Yeah, Lauren was the chicken.
So chicken enthusiast girl, her name was Tiarra, and I remember that because she's from my hometown, Redmond, Washington. That's a shout out. Jeff
great.
Will love that.
That's awesome, man. Really good stuff.
Really good stuff. Jeff loves when I do that. So speaking of some of the other guys that were there, Leah, people like Vinny, who Jeff and I, Vinny's great, and he was awesome. And I know we were just talking about Izzy, and when she came on our podcast, we asked her, you guys had instant chemistry, and she had nothing but great things to say. But we both got the vibe after the interview wrapped that they were no longer together. What was their relationship like? I know you only saw it for a couple days, but did it seem like there was chemistry there? Because Vinny seems to have really kind of gotten hurt from what happened to him there.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, it looks like they had chemistry. But when I was there, he was one of the guys that was trying to convince me to take him out. So.
Whoa! Bomb! Nice.
And they were only together for less than 24 hours before I got there. So.
Totally.
It wasn't like a lot of time that they got to hang. They got to make out one time. And he's good friends with one of my cousins who lives in Florida. So she kind of warned me that he was going to be there, and he's awesome. He is such a fun guy. And I felt really, really bad for him when that happened to him. But, I don't blame Izzy. It's just how she went about the whole situation.
Well, it's just kind of weird how she's just like, guy shows up and she's like, that guy looks good. It's like, Ian and I have talked about this. Like, everyone pretty much looks good. I mean, some guys, I guess, might be better looking than others. Depends on your taste. But that seemed like a really weak reason.
Yeah, it was kind of low.
It was definitely low. And, I mean, there's rumors out there now that they're potentially talking again and everything else. It's always interesting to see the rumor mills start. What was the biggest piece of feedback that you got after your exit? What was kind of like social media saying? What was the response that you got?
Hate again, because I got it back again. Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of people that support me too, but from the one little comment that I quote unquote made about Amanda, I got a lot of hate from it.
Which one was that specifically, Leah?
They made it sound like I said that Amanda was needy and dependent for being a single mother. And when in fact, my own mother was a 16-year-old single mother. And I would never say that about anybody. So,
and that is what is so crazy about some of the editing, right? So you mentioned you got a bad edit again. Have you been keeping up on, I'm sure you have, but but more specifically her recaps that she's been doing? And I think she did like a Snapchat video like yesterday, right? Where she was basically explaining the Kayla situation to everybody. And
what did she say?
So essentially, this is what it boiled down to, was that there are times when you're there in paradise, specifically before the rose ceremony, where the guys go down to the beach, it sounded like, maybe the girls go somewhere else, and there's no cameras around. And so during one of those sequences, Kayla told Amanda that she was not feeling Jared at all, and that she could see herself accepting a proposal and then breaking it off a couple months after the show aired. Yep. So that was, you're saying, yeah. So is that confirmed? Is that something that actually happened?
I wasn't there. That's just hearsay. That's what I was told. That's what I was told.
It's interesting though, because, and let me bring it full circle. So then Ashley I's point is that I think it was even last episode where she confronted Kayla and is basically like, what's going on? And this is what, pushes Kayla to leave. But in reality, what you don't see is that there was also like 4 other people that were also having that same confrontation, and people were telling Jared, hey, this girl's kind of shady, be careful. But of course, they only show Ashley I. So
right, exactly. I felt bad for her, for sure.
And that's kind of what I'm thinking. It's like, so with you, was there anything that happened that you felt was totally misconstrued when you saw it play back?
Well, the thing where I was absolutely nothing but nice to everybody while I was there. I made sure that they had no, ammunition to make me look bad this time. And they still did it. So I was so pissed off because I was nothing but nice to everybody, and everybody was nice to me. Obviously not behind my back, but I don't care about the whole lip thing. Like, that does not bother me. Like, I feel good. I know I look good, so whatever. But as far as, how much power they have, they took words from The Bachelor and put them on Paradise. Just me saying the littlest thing, like, I am confident I'm getting Nick's rose tonight, which I was never confident. He straight up told me he was giving it to Amanda. Like, why would I say that?
Wow. They just took your voice from The Bachelor and put it on the show to just kind of work into their storyline. And
if you pay attention, if you don't see it actually coming out of my mouth, like 90% of the time, it's not.
Man, you know what? There's a lot of times where I'm watching the show and like they shoot from like an over the shoulder angle, and I don't see someone's jaw moving, and then you hear them talking, and then they cut back around, and then they're starting a new sentence, and I'm always going, was that just said or not? Like we asked Izzy. I know you can't answer this because you weren't there when Josh was there, but we asked Izzy straight up, like, hey, is that guy moaning like that when he's kissing Amanda and he's really moaning with the pizza? Because that's something so easy to just put in and post.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I saw that. I can tell now just because I know. I can tell when things are like put in, and it's bad. But your average viewer is not going to notice those things, and so all they see is what they see, and they're going to comment on that. So I have a lot of moms that really dislike me now.
Wow, I bet. And it's just like they couldn't have done something a little bit nicer, I guess. I mean, they make you come off in the worst light ever, basically. But so outside of the negative stuff, what was the funnest part of being down in Paradise, right? Like, what did you enjoy most about the experience this time around?
I mean, it was so short. My date with Nick was probably the most fun. And then I got to wear a swimsuit for like 10 minutes to do my intro video. And I brought that swan, that big blow up swan. I brought that from Colorado, and I got to go in the ocean with it for a little while. So that was probably the most fun in the 48 hours that I was there.
There you go. At least you got something out of it.
Yeah, I ate a lot of food, a lot of like room service when I was at the resort. Yeah.
So I want to know, I'm curious about this, the guy Jared. How old do you know Jared, and what are your thoughts on him? Because sometimes I look at that guy and I'm like, oh, that guy's super good looking. And other times I'm like, that guy doesn't seem that good looking. And then they make him seem really shy or quiet on the show sometimes. But they could, like I said, they could just easily not show this guy talking and make it seem like everything's happening around him. So what is he actually like?
Jared's awesome. I was telling Ashley, I think I tweeted at her, and she was saying on the show, everybody should have a Jared. And I actually do. I have a guy that's exactly like him. He's my very best friend. Would do anything for me. And just, I mean, honestly, Jared is just such a loving guy. He's so caring. He was probably so blindsided by, what he heard from everybody about Kayla, and just like didn't want to believe it. And honestly, I don't think he could hurt a fly. But as far as like attraction, he's not my type, but he is a lot of other girls.
Yeah, Ian's my Jared, definitely. And so
That's awesome.
I said I had my friend Justine Marino on, who's also a comic, and when I asked her about Jared, I even said to Ian before, he seems like the type of guy where girls are either gonna be like, wow, it's the hottest guy I've ever seen, or they're gonna be like, that guy's not my type at all. Just like his look.
Right. Yeah.
So, okay, I also want to ask you about Wells. First off, you just confirmed that Jared is like a super nice guy, because that's what everyone says. He's such a great guy. So it's good to hear that. That's
I'm honest.
Yeah, you're our most honest guest. What do you think about Wells? Because Wells, I think it's funny because on JoJo's season, I kind of backed him up because I don't know if you watched it, or I'm sure you know how they kind of teased this guy, how he was the only one left at one point who hadn't kissed JoJo. And I told Ian, I think on one of our like recaps we did, maybe he just at that point was like, well, I'm hanging out with 7 dudes who have made out with her. Maybe I don't want to kiss her anymore,
Right.
And now he's on Paradise, and all he does is make out with anyone who shows up. They all like Wells, at least at this point.
Play catch up.
Yeah. So like, and people go, oh, he's making up for his, his reputation. I'm like, man, if I was on a show, if I was Wells in that situation on the Bachelorette, and a bunch of dudes were joking around, like a bunch of guys going, oh, we all kissed her. I'd be like, cool, guys. Well, guess what? I don't want to kiss her anymore. So I feel like he was forced to kiss her. But so what's your take on Wells? Because he's getting a lot of different ladies' attention now.
I know. He's not my type, really at all. But he seems super funny. I've seen some of his snaps, and he seems like he is good. He's a what? Is he a radio host, I think?
Yeah, I think he's a morning radio guy.
Yeah, He seems like he's super outgoing, and I was surprised at how many chicks he got right away. But also, there's only so many guys left. Like, if Shoshana wanted to take out Josh, she couldn't. So it's like we don't really know if she would have rather taken out somebody else. They kind of like tell you, oh well, these people are left. At that point, all the girls that are coming in, it's a joke because it's about done, and they're bringing girls in with 2 days left of filming. Just to
kind of like muddy it up a little bit or something? See if they can cause some fights maybe between couples?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly why they do it.
That's so weird about the show is, I mean, obviously the producers of all these Bachelor shows do a great job of carving their own storylines and making certain people look like villains, like, like they did with you, and like making other people look like sweethearts, like they kind of did with Kayla, which apparently now we're hearing behind the scenes had like ulterior motives. Right. So, I mean, they definitely plan out when they bring all you guys in and steer things. But I mean, what's that like when I know you didn't get to be there for that long, but it's got to be strange showing up and it's all under the guise of like, we're all trying to find love, but really you're showing up and possibly just fucking over someone's situation because you need to take someone out.
Yeah. I mean, I think all the girls kind of go into it thinking that there's going to be a guy. But I mean, I would imagine that the girls that come in really late have an idea that it's probably not going to work out because they know that all the couples have formed and it's such a short time that we're there that you have no time to find someone. So it's basically like, who has the least connection? I'll take him out.
Right.
Kind of.
Were you ever interested in Grant? Would Grant be your type? Because,
no.
Lace.
My ex of 4 years was a firefighter, so I'm going to stay away from firefighters.
You're done with all firefighters.
No more firefighters. No. No. I just, I heard some things about him. Just we all did. Just what they kind of put out in the world, and I don't know. I really like guys with hair.
Oh, okay.
I'm not much of a bald type of girl.
What about body hair? Some girls like that. Some girls hate it.
Yeah, I like body hair. I like a manly man.
That's what girls who like body hair say. I like a man. I shaved my armpits one time. My wife flipped out.
Really?
Yeah, she's like, "Why are you doing that?" My ex, I remember, used to be like, "Yeah, I like it when you shave your armpits because I have hair in your armpits." And I'm like, "Yeah, it just sometimes gets annoying." And then my wife goes, "Quit fucking doing that."
Yeah.
She's like, "You're not a man."
Yeah, that's for girls to do.
So, just for soundbite purposes, can we just get a clean take of you saying, "I don't get Lace and her flat ass"?
I hate you. No, I already talked enough crap.
All right, we'll talk to the producers of The Bachelor.
My butt's pretty flat right now. No, I'm kidding. I need to work on my butt a little bit.
All right, Ian, do you have a question? I was trying to get that.
We'll splice that together in post.
We'll talk to the Bachelor people.
Leah's used to it. So in terms of some of the other people that are out there, one of the more interesting couples, and we talked about it a little bit, but is Carly and Evan, and just their whole dynamic and the whole just the screen time that they've received thus far this season. What I mean by that is at the very early part of their relationship, Carly was very mean, but not to Evan, to the camera, right? So this is the worst kiss of my life. Oh, it makes me sick. I want to puke. All this kind of thing. Yeah. How do you think that would make you feel if you come home and then you're watching this? Do you feel bad for Evan? What was Evan like when you were out there?
Totally. I felt really bad. Okay. I mean, Evan was, I don't know, he was kind of awkward. I remember I tried to have sit down and have dinner with him, and he was being real weird. But he was nice to me. He just, I don't know, there was something about him. But yeah, I would be pissed if I watched it back. I'm like, really? You thought I was disgusting? No matter what, how can you go from disgusting? It's one thing if you're like, oh, that kiss wasn't that great, but this guy's disgusting. That's terrible.
It was pretty intense. And so you said Evan's a little weird. What was weird about him? Kind of his vibe?
Are you just not into Musketeers?
Yeah, his vibe. I feel like he was judging me because I went in there for Chad and he doesn't like Chad. I feel like a lot of people were judging me just because I don't like Chad. I'm like, I don't know anything about this guy. What's happening,
Was there almost a group text that was initiated prior to this? So everybody kind of knew where everybody was thinking in terms of relationships?
No, not really. I think some people talk just privately. I don't think the guys really had, an idea of who they wanted besides a couple.
Gotcha.
I don't think the guys really talked about it together. It's just a girl thing to do, I think.
Definitely. Well, Evan is a character. I think we can establish that. But Carly really had been previously kind of like America's sweetheart a little bit, right? People would pull for her. I think it's fair to say she was a Bachelor favorite. And all this, behavior, reaction, right, that came from the show. What was Carly really like? I mean, now I feel like I don't have any idea who Carly really is out in real life.
Yeah. Carly, she was nice to me. I don't know. I think I think she was not stoked that another girl came in because Chad had left. So that meant 3 girls were going home that week. But that wasn't my fault. I was supposed to come in the very first day. So,
yeah.
And she knew that. I mean, they all knew who the original cast was, but I don't know. She was nice to me. Everybody was nice to me, to my face.
It sounds like in your voice, you don't like Carly. Can we get you quickly to say Lace has a flat ass? I'm just kidding.
Late.
Go ahead.
Oh wait,
Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
okay.
Oh, okay. She was thinking about it for a second though.
Oh my god.
But Ian's right though
What?
about Carly. That
Just say it.
is
Just say it.
there that Carly and Evan relationship? It seemed. I mean, how much of that is producer driven? Because that's so strange. Because they definitely had like, oh look, those two hit it off, cool, and then immediately she kind of turns into a super bitch. No offense about like how she. I mean, that's not editing the way she was going off to the camera, right? Where she's like, that was the worst kiss ever. I puked not because of the pepper. I puked because that was just so gross kissing him. And then poor Evan, they're putting fireworks behind him talking about how it was the best day of his life and, you know, all that stuff. And then she just goes back to him, it seemed like, because she wanted to stay. I don't care what anyone says. Like, the numbers weren't adding up for her. And all of a sudden she's like, I'm kind of feeling Evan again. It's like, how are you feeling him again?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think time will tell if they work. I think out of all the couples, they probably actually have the best shot. That's just what I think. But again, I don't know. Like, it was just so weird how she was so grossed out and then fell in love. But I think maybe she just realized that he's a great guy. And honestly, I don't know. I don't know what's going through that girl's head. But hopefully it's true, because true love, because that would be great for them. But, I don't know.
It makes for a good story, I guess.
Yeah.
One other person that I know you were vying for his rose at the end, because obviously you wanted to stay, but I don't think there was any connection there, was Daniel, right?
Yeah.
Daniel, the Canadian, which I think he may have been walking out of paradise, or he may be walking out of paradise in the best light. Like, this guy was really known from JoJo's season, in which I know you didn't see a bunch of, as kind of a clown. He's Chad's boy, so he had just kind of a bad odor around him, right? And he was just kind of a goofy guy. He does seem to be semi-deep. Is he super weird in person? What was Daniel like?
Oh my God, he's the funniest person. He is hilarious. I don't think he means to be. It's just the stuff that comes out of his mouth. He is so entertaining. I mean, you saw basically every conversation he has, people are just thinking, what are you talking about? Like, when he talked to me about oranges and onions, I'm like, what? All right, dude, I'm not following. Super nice guy, super nice. But I'm not sure how he got on Bachelorette. I'm not sure.
It was different, though. It's like a different look for the franchise. I don't think they've ever had anybody on quite like Daniel, because he is deep. Like, he is. His dad is a quadriplegic, and like, you can tell there's flashes that there's something there in him, but then he'll go and talk to Chad, and he's rating all the girls, and he's calling people out and everything else, and he comes off really bad. So like, I have to assume reality is somewhere in the middle. But anyways, it's just interesting kind of hearing about Daniel. Is there any other stories that you had from being down there from the cast that didn't make the air that you think were just hilarious? Any interactions that you had with anybody?
Let's see. I mean, I don't, because I was there for such a short period of time, but can we talk about that time when the twins were like messing with each other's buttholes?
Yes, I was gonna ask you about the twins. Go ahead.
What?
Yes.
I don't that was so, I don't even understand what was going on there.
When were they messing with each other's buttholes?
Like, in one episode, they like showed one of the twins. The other girl was like arched, like her back was, or it was arched. It was the other way, inverted.
Right.
Like she was getting it up the butt or something. And
doggy style.
Her sister was reaching in her crotch, and they put like a black box over her hand. But I mean, it was like she was putting her hand up her butt.
Jeez, how do you feel about the twins? Because they were the ones that were super phony on camera to you. So,
they're like that in person too. I mean, that's just how they are.
They have kind of a weird thing going too, because everyone we talk to about it thinks it's kind of strange. They're like a group. They're a package deal. Yeah. Like it's not fair, because if all like one of them just has to do something to stay every time. And then they left together, and they were crying. And like, those girls just don't seem that serious to where.
Not at all.
Are they actresses? How are they crying so much about something they didn't take seriously the whole time?
Yeah, they're definitely putting up an act for sure. Like they weren't gonna find love there. They're born for reality TV.
Did you?
Well, that's the question.
Go ahead.
Just a quick question. The twins, do they drink?
No, I think Emily drinks a little bit, but Haley doesn't drink.
Okay, so that's always an interesting thing too, because they're out there. They definitely have big personalities, but you have to wonder a little bit. Are they hamming it up a little bit? Like, are they playing into this? Like, that was what I was thinking about Ashley until I heard it from her own mouth explain how the editing made her look that way. And I'm sure that's how you feel too, right? Because you're saying what people saw is really not you.
Honestly, I think Emily, of the two twins, she's like the most outgoing. I don't feel like Haley has a personality. She's very quiet and just sits there and like just is the other twin. But
Interesting.
yeah, they're like that all the time. I mean, they're just very obnoxious and loud, and or Emily is, I guess. Haley just kind of just follows along.
I know
in person. But yes, I mean, they will do anything that the producers tell them to do. So.
Yeah, I want to ask you. I know
go.
this is a very superficial question, but what do you think about how they look? Because I talked to some girls who are like, well, yeah, I mean, they're super hot, and I don't. Maybe it's because I've never been into like blondes, but I mean, I don't see them being super hot.
Well, fine.
I'm not saying like I don't think blondes are pretty, but I mean, I've dated a few blonde girls and everything, but
No,
that's
yeah,
not, yeah, but I just don't. I think they're cute girls. Obviously, everyone on the show is attractive. You know, I mean, Evan's a musketeer, but that's his own. He's kind of an adventurer. He's mysterious. But I don't. Are they super hot in person? Do you look at them as another girl and be like, "Wow, like that's some tough competition looks wise"?
I never saw them as competition. I think they wear a lot of makeup. So, like they're kind of like showgirls, I guess. They wear a shit ton of makeup, but they are pretty. Their eyes are gorgeous. They have like the prettiest eyes ever. But I mean, if you like a platinum blonde, like tan, little blonde, then that's the kind of look. I'm more, like wholesome Colorado girl. I don't know. We just like have different looks. So if a guy is going for me, he's probably not going to go for them. If you want, so.
Right. What another thing I don't know if you saw this on the show if you watched, but at one point there's another reason why I was not a big fan of the twins. They said we got to do something to stay on, and then I think Emily talks Haley into going to kiss Daniel.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Okay, which is one of whatever they're plotting to stay on the show, which I guess they're just being more open about it than some people. But that kiss she gave Daniel fucking sucked. Like there's so many kisses where I'm like, I kissed my mom like that. You know what I mean? She gave him like a peck on the lips.
Like kids, yeah.
And then she comes back to her twin, and Emily's like, "Did you do it?" She's like, "Oh, I did it." It's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that's how I kiss a guy when I just like say hi if I'm meeting him for lunch. It's just like whatever.
Yeah, that was a kiss on the cheek, just happened to be on the lips, and then she acted like she did some big bold move.
I know.
It's a bad.
I mean,
kiss.
they're young.
Right. Okay, so what do you think about? We already got your take on Ashley and stuff. What do you think about Shoshana and Jamie? Because they showed up and they were all about Wells. How well do you know them?
I mean, I know them just from the time I spent on The Bachelor. They're nice girls. I don't think that they had a shot because they just came in so late. But yeah, it was.
I forgot who it was, but somebody, when Shoshana showed up, I think it might have been one of the girls who liked Wells. Was it Ashley? She goes, she's just Eurotrash. Like, it's kind of just an easy thing to call someone because they're European. Why is she trash? Like, is she trashy?
European hooker. I think she called her a hooker.
Yeah, she did.
She called her a hooker. I was like, whoa, girl.
Ashley was letting people have it, man. That's part of the fun, I feel like, in Ashley. And this situation in Paradise, much like it sounds like on the actual show, Bachelor and Bachelorette, there was a lot of boozing. How much of that was taking place when you were there, Leah? Like, was that like a daily thing that people were doing, waking up and drinking, or was it mainly at night? What was the alcohol situation like in the house?
I think, at the beginning, people drink a lot and then it just gets kind of old and you just stop. But yeah, at the beginning, you're in Mexico, you're on a vacation. All you want to do is drink and go lay by the pool.
Well, so here's why I was asking that too, because that makes sense, right? What you just said. but you guys are still not allowed when you're there, especially for some of these guys who have been there for weeks, to watch TV, to like have your phones. Is that accurate? Like, what are you doing in your downtime?
Yeah. I mean, the first day I got there, I was on my date, and then I came back and it was nighttime and I just hung out. We drank. And then the next day was the rose ceremony, and we're kind of separated from the guys, and basically we just get ready all day and just hang out. And then I was gone. So I think just what you see is kind of like the Bachelor and Bachelorette. There's a lot of downtime. If you're not on a date, at least there, you're with everybody. You actually spend more time with the people on Paradise than you do on Bachelor or Bachelorette, like with your significant other. And so, yeah, it's just laying by the pool, just relaxing, like you would be on a regular vacation, but just no activities, really.
Unless you get lucky enough to go on the date, of course, right? So what did you bring in anticipation of staying, of course, like for your entertainment? Did you pack some books? What was like your secret weapon if you got super bored? What were you planning to do?
I brought an EMS machine, electronic muscle stimulator.
Oh, really? Jeff has some history with this, so please continue.
Yeah, no, I was like, I'm going to get fat while I'm here, so it just helps, your muscles like move a little bit more. I would have probably just exercised, and just last time when I was on The Bachelor, I actually brought swim goggles, and I was the only one that like swam laps while I was there.
There you go. Working on your fitness. You got to get it in at some point, I guess. Was there a gym inside the house?
No.
Okay.
So how, dude? If there's no gym, how is Nick staying so ripped? How is Daniel staying so ripped? Are they running?
I think. Well, you're not there very long. You're there like a few weeks at most.
Yeah, but I mean, I used to be like pretty cut, and if you stop working out and you're drinking, and I mean that, like, if you're super cut, it goes away. It doesn't. You're not gonna get fat, but you're not gonna be like Nick is in like super good shape, and Daniel has like no body fat, like.
Right.
And even Grant. So they're not like running in the morning, or there's nothing to do?
No, they ran. They would just run back and forth on the beach. When I was there, I would see I saw Nick running with one of the producers, and they ran, and they probably just do push-ups, and I mean there's things to do.
Okay.
There you go.
You just don't have equipment.
All right, very interesting. So give us, who are like the hottest guys there? Top 3 or top 5, in your opinion, and then rank the girls.
Top 5?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very picky, so can I give you
top
3?
Top 3. Yeah, top 3. Okay. That works.
And you can't include yourself. You're out of it.
Dang. No, I'm kidding. Okay, for guys, I thought just physically, Brett was really cute. He wasn't there when I was there.
Brett, okay. Yeah, dude, that guy's getting jocked. All right.
He's getting jocked. Lamp man.
Yeah.
Right,
he's got game.
Lamp man number 1. Okay. I don't find Chad as attractive as I once did, but I think he's still cute. Okay. And Nick. Or you know what? Josh is really cute too. Shoot. All right, we'll take Chad off. Josh and Nick.
Or you could do Chad top 5 like we initially wanted.
Okay. Then that was 4, right? Or 3? That was 4.
That was 4. Yep.
And I guess Grant.
Okay.
I guess Grant.
What if he wasn't? What if Grant wasn't a firefighter? Would he be higher up on the list?
He's just not my type. Again, like I like guys with hair.
Okay, my top 5 guys. I know we didn't ask me, but it goes Evan, and then Evan is 2 as well, and then Evan's 3, and then I go Josh, and then Nick. So Evan's 1 through 3. All right. What about girls?
I'd say Jen, number 1.
Wow, Ian likes Jen too. I was not a big fan.
Yeah, my brother. I have like a really cute brother, and he like pretty much you get any girl he wants, and he does not think she's very cute. I'm like, what? Because I wanted to set them up together.
Wow.
Like he thinks she's okay, but wasn't. I don't know. I think she is a smoke show.
Yeah, so did Ian. All right, go ahead.
He has a great body too. So, number 2. Amanda. Probably because we look similar. I don't know.
Okay.
And I'd say Shoshana's beautiful. Shoshana is really pretty. So I'd say her. And who else was there? God, there were so many girls. Ashley. Oh, Ashley. I think Ashley's really pretty.
Right.
And
My wife thinks Ashley's really pretty. She was watching the show going, why is this girl so insecure? She's really cute.
yeah, she's gorgeous.
What about Jubilee? Got to show Jubilee some love.
Jubes. I've literally totally forgot about Jubilee, that she was even there.
Well, you guys went home the same night, right?
Yeah. Jubilee are really good friends.
You are?
Sorry,
Can you
Jubes.
convince Jubilee to come on? She tweeted me back and said she doesn't like doing interviews. Yeah, she can just come on and hang out like you do.
She'll like be a mute though. I don't know. She's just not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that
So
would be
when
good.
we do like viewing parties, I have to like convince her to like take pictures with people, or she'll just chill there.
I see. Okay.
It's all good. No, that was a fun.
And Jubilee, yeah. I don't know.
And
Those
Jubilee.
aren't really in order though. Those are just 5 of the girls I think are really pretty.
Just throwing it out there. I mean, you're at the top of our list, Leah. So don't worry about that. Of course. And so we have week 6 coming up, the final week, the 2-night dramatic finale that we've all been waiting for. Do you have any record or predictions rather on who's going to be leaving engaged? If you know already, I mean, obviously you don't have to spoil it, but is there anybody that stood out to you that you think would actually make a great couple off of Paradise?
Well, I do know, but when I left, just because Amanda is one of my really close friends, and you'll find out what happens. This is just my, what I thought when I left is I was hoping that she would leave with Josh but wouldn't get engaged, or get engaged, period, because it's just such a short time. I was just worried about her, so I was hoping that she wouldn't. Other than, I knew that, I don't know, at that point, I really didn't know like who when I left. But at this point, I feel like if Vinny and Izzy would have stayed together, that probably would have happened. I could see Carly definitely getting engaged because she stayed with him after calling him disgusting. So you never know which.
Exactly. You don't know where that's going.
Yeah. And
okay.
Yeah, maybe Lace. I don't know. They're telling each other they loved each other, so that's why I feel like they could get engaged.
Yeah, maybe if Grant grows like 7 more dicks, right?
Yeah.
I could see Vinny and Izzy getting married, but then like at the wedding, one of the waiters is super hot, and Izzy's like, "That guy's my type," and Vinny's like, "What the fucker?" And then Vinny's mom stands up and goes, "You're making a mistake, Izzy.
Yeah.
You're ruining my son's life." All right.
Izzy.
All right, before we go, we have to ask you, I'm pretty sure last time we talked, am I crazy? Did you not kind of allude to the fact that you and Robbie were kind of a thing?
I knew this was coming.
I almost forgot.
No, Robbie and I are just really good friends.
Oh, come on.
No, I swear, I would probably tell you if anything else was happening. He came out to Denver. We spent some time together. I'm really close with his brother, too, because he lives here. And
nice.
We're all just a big, happy family.
Happy family. Love it.
I will say I probably will not date a guy from the franchise.
And why is that?
I don't want to date a guy that would go on this show. You know?
I see.
Somebody that has never watched a show is probably who I'll end up with.
So you're saying even if Carly breaks it off with Evan, you're not open to that?
All right, fine, maybe, but I just think that was an option, so I didn't say it.
Oh, okay.
You can always hope. We can always hope. And
just in case.
are you dating anybody now, Leah? Are you seeing anyone?
My dog.
Just your dog. Okay. Good answer. Has gotten any weird or strange people reaching out to you, perhaps maybe on the social media, trying to take you out since you've been back?
Oh yeah, I get some really good ones. What
was like your most memorable one that you've received lately?
Well, I mean, I get like really long emails, like trying to convince me, to give them a chance.
Can we please see some of those? Can you forward those to us? engpodcast@gmail.
I definitely will forward them to you.
Leah, a few years ago, Ian and I made a book called Guys Have No Game, a book of first impressions, which was just, we set up online dating accounts and we didn't talk to guys. I just used a picture of some fan of mine and we didn't talk to guys, and we took screenshots of all the things they would write. So, and this is just a dating site. We had no conversations with them. It was just their pickup lines, and some of them, this person I put up there was just a random girl. It wasn't someone from TV or anything like you. Yeah. And they would write novels.
It was like a novel. I'm trying to think if I could pull it up right now.
So funny.
While I look real quick, I'll tell you one thing that was really funny is I was out. I made the mistake. I didn't really know at the time whether I should add people on Facebook, like originally, and I do regret it now because I guess I made like a separate page. But so I started just adding everybody on Facebook because I don't really use Facebook that often. Right. And all of these guys that live in India, I guess I added. I literally just would say, yes, add, or, accept.
Right.
And so one day I was with my friend at his apartment and we were hanging out, and all of a sudden I get this call from Facebook, and it's some guy, Muhammad or something, some weird last name, calling me from India. And I asked my friend, I was like, should I answer it? Because we were just, messing around. And so I answer it, and he's like this 45-year-old man, or maybe a little younger, but definitely in his 40s, and could barely speak. He couldn't even understand what I was saying. And all I kept asking him for was to send me chai, and he didn't send me chai. So after that, I would get like 50 calls a day from all these people in India trying to call me. I'm like, shit, what did I do?
Dang. Try to call you to just say hello? Like, are you...
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So Bachelor in Paradise, huge hit in India, apparently.
I will tell, in January, I went to a comedy festival in India and performed in India and all these different cities. And that shit is... don't go to India if that's never like a destination for a vacation. It's the it's the saddest place ever. And it's just strange. Yeah.
Yeah, like this guy, they just call me all the time. Like, I just looked and they said 2 days ago, Pastor Bernard Nyaki Beer called you. Missed a call. I'm like, what? Pastor Nyaki Berber? Like, I don't know you.
Interesting. Were you able to pull up any of these comments that you've been getting, Leah?
Oh, shoot. No, I will also.
Okay. No worries. We're putting you on the spot a bit, but that'll make for some fun follow-up. And in the meantime, thank you so much for coming back on. This was super fun. We love having you on as a guest.
Thank you for having me.
Perfect. Is there anything new that you would like to promote, Leah, or if you want to shout out like any of your social media as well for listeners?
Follow me. All my social medias are the same, at Leah Block. And if you have any recommendations, anything related to New York, I may or may not be making the move to the big city. So send them out. Wow. Send me DMs or whatever.
Wow.
Perfect. Well, congratulations and happy belated. I know we wished you happy birthday as well, but that was like a week ago, right?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And you are always welcome back. We look forward to chatting with you soon.
Love to. Cool. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
bye,
Leah.
guys.
Bye-bye.
See you, Leah.
Today's episode of the E&G podcast is sponsored by our good friends at Clothing by Owl. All you Bachelor fans will recognize this name as they are the company behind the hugely popular wine, Bachelor, and yoga pants tank top. What you may not know is that they give back a percentage of every item sold to Animal Rescue, and that notable Bachelor alums like JoJo Fletcher, Caitlin Bristow, Lauren Bushnell, Ben Higgins, and Nick Viall are all huge supporters. We're happy to offer our listeners 20% off when you visit clothingbyowl.com. Simply add the discount code ENG, that's EANDG, to save on all your Bachelor gear. And be sure to follow them on social media at Clothing by Owl.
Jeff and I are doggy dads, which is why we're so excited to be partnering with our newest sponsor, Puppies Make Me Happy. They have a super simple mission, to make the happiest clothes on earth, which they do. And we know our listeners will love this brand just as much as we do. Plus, we're excited to help spread a little happiness ourselves by offering listeners 20% off all merchandise by using discount code ENG. That's EANDG at checkout. Make sure to follow them on Instagram at Puppies Make Me Happy